Hello and good evening, everybody on YouTube. As you probably know, or many of you that don't know, today is a very sad, um, distraught, uh, dare say, distressful day in the world of professional wrestling and in sports entertainment in general. Um, as of today, um, Randell Poffo, better known to the wrestling world as the Macho Man Randy Savage, passed away today in a very horrific car accident, or I think it was a heart attack in his car, one of those things. I was reading today that his car had hit a tree or something along those lines, and I guess he was having a heart attack. The heart attack before the car hit the tree, but nevertheless, this is a very tough, disheartening day today. Today is a day of mourning. You know, I was kind of baffled myself when I first got on the internet today, just to go check, my email. And my account is with Yahoo, of course. And, on the Yahoo homepage, they always have, the little articles posted up on the website, to kind of let you know what's going on in the world. And every time my computer comes on, before it shows my Yahoo Messenger screen, it's always, the little mini Yahoo screen that always shows up, and it always has the articles. And I know before I went to click on the Internet Explorer icon, the little screen just showed up, and it said Macho Man Randy Savage dies or is dead. And I was just like, wow, really? Like Macho Man? Man, last time I heard about him, he was training, trying to make his comeback or whatever to the ring. And then, I've been hearing rumors that, Hulk Hogan was going to try to bring him into what is Impact Wrestling now, but what is formerly known as TNA. And, I was just like, wow, man. Like, I feel sorry for Hogan, in spite of what he's done in wrestling, these days or lately. You got to feel sorry for him, because, him and Randy Savage, before they had their little dispute, they seemed to be pretty close, with the mega powers and, that classic WWF title match that they had at WrestleMania 5. I'll never forget it. Yeah, it was just they were just the best of friends, and I guess you could say the worst of enemies too at the same time. But yeah, this is a very uneasy day, I'm sure, for a lot of professional wrestlers around the world, as is wrestling fans like myself who grew up watching Randy Savage. Just to bring a little light to the subject, just to give you a quick memory of what I remember about Randy Savage. Excuse me. I remember first watching Randy Savage around like 1995. I remember, the World War III pay-per-view where he won the World Heavyweight Championship, defeating 60 Men, and, there was a whole lot of controversy because he had eliminated Hogan and all that other stuff, and you know, that was just great to see, him win the world title that way, because I feel like, you know, Macho Man was one of the more underrated wrestlers in professional wrestling. I felt that Macho Man, had he been pushed more, um, and not just like one of those mid card guys, because to me Randy Savage was bigger than the mid carders. I think that Randy Savage was, just as big a legend, if not a bigger legend than Hulk Hogan. You know, I think he was right up there with Hogan. I just think that the reason why he didn't get put on that pedestal to where he was supposed to be is because, of course, Hogan ruled the 80s and a good chunk of the 90s as well, but so did Randy Savage. You know, he come out, with the little, the colorful, flamboyant, chic outfits. Have the nice little custom-made sunglasses, with the confetti wrapped around them, and go to "Ooh yeah, brother" and all that other stuff. That was great. And the guy, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated guys on the microphone. I mean, when Randy Savage cut a promo, you know, it was just, it was basically, he was talking like a prize fighter getting ready to go in the ring and knock somebody out. I mean, I know the boxing cliche gets tossed around a lot, but I mean, when you hear Randy Savage talk, you could really feel what he was saying. It was a lot of emotion and a lot of intensity, and it was a lot of belief in what he was saying, and he was just an awe-inspiring wrestler. I mean, just from his aerial moves to the elbow drop, the flying elbow drop off the top rope, just his athleticism, his charisma. He's probably up there, maybe like in the top 5 or the top 4 greatest wrestlers of all time. I mean, I don't know what anybody else thinks, but that's just me, Um, but yeah, Randy Savage was was probably the other main reason why the 90s in wrestling, or why professional wrestling in the 90s was so important and so epic in that time. I mean, everybody wants to give all the credit to Hogan, and I mean, sure, Hogan deserves some credit for bringing 90s wrestling to prominence, but at the same time, we gotta, cut a bigger, just as big a slice of that pie and give it to Randy Savage, because, like I said, just his whole personality in the ring, it was just a spectacle all in itself, I can remember probably one of my favorite matches, or probably my favorite match of Macho Man Randy Savage, was probably the matches that he had with Ric Flair. I mean, just that whole feud, it was so captivating, and it really got you into Macho Man's character, and you could really feel for him. Perfect example, going back to Slamboree '95, when his father, Randell Poffo, got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Ric Flair came out and, beat him up, and, put the figure 4 on him, and, and Randy Savage, he was just so emotionally torn. You could just feel for him, just fighting for the honor of his father, and Ric Flair, being the dirty heel that he was, it seemed like, he was just really disrespecting the Poffo name. And then, the biggest probably turn of events that happened was at Super Brawl 6, and I know a lot of y'all out there might remember this, the Super Brawl 6 cage match that he had with Ric Flair, when Elizabeth turned on Randy Savage, when she was trying to be sneaky, and she, took off her shoe and she handed it to Flair, and Flair nailed Savage in the head and pinned him for the world title. And you know, they went on with in the storyline about how he was gonna take Savage's money, and how Elizabeth was behind the whole plot the whole time and everything. You know, that was just an unbelievable storyline. You know, and just the matches that those two put on. You know, Savage and Flair. You know, those were some of the better matches in WCW, and I think that's what really made WCW a major commodity in the Monday Night Wars, was because of the Ric Flair Macho Man Randy Savage rivalry. You know, and probably another favorite match of mine, and I know I wasn't born or around, so to speak, when this match happened, but I have seen it on videotape. I used to have it on video. Was of course WrestleMania 3 with Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental Championship. In my opinion, you know, probably one of the greatest wrestling matches I've seen in a long time. I mean, that match had everything you would want in a wrestling match. I mean, you know, you had the scientific aspect of it. You know, you had the aerial stuff. You know, you had the drama. You had, you know, the false you had the near falls. You know, it was just back and forth, fast-paced action. I mean, you know, that right there, I believe, is the example of what a true wrestling match was with Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. And, you know, for Savage to be gracious enough to put Ricky Steamboat over in that match, you know, that just showed you what type of guy he was, you know. And, you know, it's going to be hard not having him around anymore. You know, he's had a major influence on everybody in the wrestling industry, you know, and, you know, I'm just going to be thinking about, you know, him with the Slim Jim, and, you know, dig it, slam it to a Slim Jim, ooh yeah, and, you know, all that other stuff, and, you know, I'm just going to miss seeing him, you know, and it's kind of hard to believe he's not going to be wrestling in the ring anymore. But, you know, he's going to be in a better place now. You know, the Lord's going to take care of him. And, yeah. So, Randy Savage, you know, I just want to say that you were one of my favorites. And I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. You know, I'm not going to act like, you know, I'm a fan now. I'm not going to be like one of these people and just act like a fan just because of your death. I've been following you for a long, long time. You were one of my favorites in the 90s. I loved your matches in WCW. You know, you were probably one of the most charismatic guys to ever step into the ring. And, you know, in my opinion, you're probably one of the greatest of all time, and you will go down as the greatest of all time. And there's no doubt in my mind that you won't be forgotten. So, Randy Savage, God bless you, man. We miss you. And ooh yeah. Now that I've said all that, being that I really don't have anything else to say, because I'm still, you know, kind of shocked at this whole thing. So I'm just going to end this with a little song that comes to mind. It's a gospel song. It's called Amazing Grace. And this is how we're going to end this video. So everybody enjoy. Rest in peace, Randy.
Amen.